So welcome everyone to a new ECI Open Academy. This is our third such academy. You may recall that we started with David Harris, legendary AJC CEO, for more than 30 years, and we had a Open Academy with public intellectual Os Guinness. And this time we will do it slightly different. Instead of having one guest, we have 5 or 6. It depends a little bit on how people will be able to join the webinar. But the ones that we have this time in the studio, as you can see, are slightly younger than what we have had in the past. They are the delegates from our recent ECI Young Leaders Academy in the month of April. As you may remember, we have had 3 such Open or Young Leaders Academy since we began this new initiative last year in 2024. And I thought that instead of just me having the honor and the privilege of getting to know these young leaders from across Europe, we would make it possible for our audience, our members and supporters and others who are interested to hear our conversation of what does it mean to stand up for Israel in Europe today? What does it mean to combat anti-Semitism today? What are the challenges that we are facing in different parts of Europe today? Because in this academy, we have participants both from the north and the south, from Sweden, from Italy, from Belgium, from Spain. Before I will introduce each of the panelists, let us also make clear that our thoughts and prayers are, of course, with the people of Israel today. I would add with the people of Iran, those who are longing for freedom, democracy, after more than 46 years of totalitarian regime. And it hasn't been entirely easy to focus on this topic today, as things are happening at such a rapid pace in the news cycle. But regardless of what happens in Iran in these next few days and weeks, the problem of anti-Semitism will sadly remain with us. And that is why it is so important to keep our eyes on this problem in Europe. And we will do so for the next hour or so by having a conversation with Alessandro, Amanda, Agatha, Davide, Pietro, and Marie. We may be joined by an additional panelist during the course of the program, but these are our permanent panelists, so to speak. Let me also say that Katarina Salmi is our producer, who is making sure that this is running smoothly, and Christina Lasebna, who is our Brussels representative, is also a co-host who you can't see. And in addition to these names, we also want to honor Joseph Banton, who was the co-leader at the last Young Leaders Academy. But let me start with just having a brief introductory conversation with each one of you, and let me be a gentleman and start with women first. If I start with Amanda, who is on my right-hand side. Amanda is from Sweden. You were part of the second ECI Young Leaders Academy. But you have also been very recently to Israel. And as we spoke before we started recording, you said you came out in time. Please, Amanda, if you can unmute yourself and just share with a few words who you are, why you are passionate in doing what you're doing, and also with a few words, share your experience from having visited Israel very recently.
Yes, it's very nice to be here. Nice to meet you all. And I'm very thankful for this community of ECI where we can join together and be Christians who support each other for advocacy. It's very special. I work with now I work with two Israel like organizations that work with Israel, but I've worked for about a year for an organization called Keren Kayemet. It's in Hebrew, it's Kakal JNF. So it's the organization that has actually built the country. Started off. It's the original Zionist organization that Jews all over the world started collecting money to buy land, and then they started buying land, and then 1948 it became a state. So I had the honor to go to Israel to record social media content. I work with social media. And it was amazing trip, life-changing trip for sure. So many impressions. And yeah, do you want me to start, like, do the questions or just share freely?
Just introductory,
Okay.
1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll come back to you many times during.
Okay, sorry. I thought we
Yes.
were gonna
Yeah, yeah.
start. Okay,
No.
yes. So that's me. Yeah, and it was I came back 2 weeks ago, so just in time, and could never have imagined this would happen, And I'm very thankful that I got to go.
Thank you, Amanda. And on my left-hand side, I have Alessandro. And I believe Alessandro is from Florence and Italy. And I also learned during our last Young Leaders Academy that neither of our Italian friends are very shy. So you have a lot to say. So you can start now simply by introducing yourself and why are you doing what you're doing.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for being here. To all of you, I'm delighted to take part in this webinar and to have the opportunity to speak about Israel with all of you. I'm Alessandro, and I'm currently pursuing a bachelor's in economics and management, manager at the University of Florence. And yeah, for several years, I've been deeply engaged with uses related to Israel, but in general with international uses. I'm the founder of the page Students for Israel, Studenti per Israele, and we are signatories with the manifesto that we want to study with my other two colleagues. And yes, it's me, and I didn't want to bother you to talking about my life, but I'm very delighted to participate to this webinar to talk about what Israel means to me and what it means to defend Israel, and what it means to stand with Israel in this moment, unfortunately, because we are living in a difficult environment, in particular in the universities, with an environment of racial hatred. We live in an anti-Zionism environment, but it is a antisemitism disguised by anti-Zionism, in my opinion. And yes, we live in a we have. So I didn't want to go get off of a tangent, but we I think we had the opportunity to speak about this because we live in a difficult situation in our universities because the pro-Palestinians they vandalized our universities, and we live in an environment of violence and hatred. So yes, thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for the opportunity to have been part to the ACI project. It was a very wonderful experience, a very great experience.
Thank you, Alessandro. And later in the program, I want to come back to the question why. I think, as you remember, European Coalition for Israel, we say it's a coalition of all the others. And it's also probably important to be clear here that it's not exclusive in the sense that everyone are Christians. We said this is open for everyone. It is a Christian initiative. In previous academies, we have friends of Jewish descent. I think those who are now on the screen, you all, and that is what makes it very interesting. You don't have, any Jewish connections, but we will come back to that because I think many who are watching have this question in the back of their mind. And that also concerns you, Agatha, from Canary Islands in Spain, one of the problematic countries when it comes to Israel. Maybe you can just say with a few words who you are and why you are passionate in defending Israel and standing up for the Jewish people.
So good afternoon, first of all, and thank you for having me here. So I'm Agatha, I'm 21 years old, and I'm an international relations student. So I'm very, very interested in the Israeli-Arab conflict, or Palestinian conflict. And I also really try to engage with Jewish organizations, try to help them as much as I can, and also learn in Hebrew, trying to connect. That's me.
Maybe if I press you a little bit, you may not have an answer to this question because it's not obvious, but not everyone clearly are taking a stand as you are doing. Do you have an answer to that question? Why are you different?
Well, that's a bit of a complex question, of course. There are many reasons and inner motivations that drive me to speak out, but I think that I just think it's the right thing to do when you see all of this hatred towards a minority. Of course, when people say never again now, so it's not happening. Like, it should be really never again now, and we're not seeing that happen. So I think that's what I thought. This is not right, and I need to speak out.
Thank you. That's very clear. Let's go back to Italy. I think also in Florence we have an overrepresentation from Florence today, which is nice. Pietro Balzano.
Yes, first of all, I'm in Milan, so Florence is very well represented here, but I'm from Milan, so there's also this city. And so as Alessandro said before, Studenti per Israele signed a manifesto and is part of an initiative for the safety of the right to study in our university, which right now is under attack, especially if you are a Jewish student. And I am proud to say that I wrote that manifesto back at this point is 1 year ago, and I surely have a strong motivation to do what I do, and is that right now I see all over the world that democracy is under threat and in some cases is under attack. This started with Ukraine back in 2022, and that really ignited my passion for international politics and to take a strong stance for democracy. And when I saw the 7th of October, it really reminded me of the same aggression that Ukraine suffered. And so for me, defending Israel was the most logical thing to do as a democracy lover and as a proud Western citizen. And right now, defending Israel is very, very difficult, but this makes it even more important, even with the addition of what is happening right now with Iran, that is pretty much the mastermind behind the 7th of October, because we must not forget that Iran controls Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthi in Yemen. So really, Israel is doing all the dirty work the West can't or is not willing to do. And this is why I support Israel this much, because it's really the front line of democracy and Western civilization right now.
Thank you. And you were actually quoting the new Chancellor Friedrich Merz in saying that Israel is doing the dirty work of, of Europe and every other free country in the world. Thank you. Let's go to Belgium, our host country for the Young Leaders Academy, and Marie from Charleroi. And you shared, I had a chance to speak with you at the last Young Leaders Academy, and you shared quite from a personal perspective why you feel so strongly about standing up for Israel. I don't know if this is too personal or if you want to share it now, but please, the microphone is yours.
Thank you. First of all, I'm really happy to be here. Like, I really missed the people from the ECI, so it's really great to reconnect. So yes, I'm from Belgium, and prior to October 7th, I honestly had no connection to Israel or the Jewish people. Like, I didn't know much about them. I never really got super interested. Then October the 7th happened, and the next day in my city there was like a big celebration party with Palestinian flags, and just people were literally celebrating the attacks. And we started to see such a wave of hatred. And for me, it really made me automatically want to stand up, because I told you before, in school, I got bullied as a kid for many, many years. And I think I just saw myself in them at that moment, and I could relate. And I just it was not an option for me to just stay silent in this situation. So this is why standing up for Israel and the Jewish people means so much to me.
Wonderful. That was brief, but so much to the point, and so moving in the same way. And I'm sure for many of our Jewish viewers who are listening into this webinar, this gives a lot of courage for everything what you are saying. Again, being this coalition of others, why should you care? But you do care, and that also includes Davide, who I meet from time to time, not only in Brussels, but also in Rome, and most of all in Sanremo. Please, Davide, will you share a little bit about
Yes,
who you are and
yes.
why you are so active?
Hello, everyone. I'm Davide Filippi. I'm currently a student at the Turin University. I'm a student of history, and looking at history, I can see how anti-Semitism changed during the centuries, but is always the same hate, unfortunately. My university is one of the most of the university where the so-called pro-Palestinian movement is stronger. Our my university was occupied last year for more than 40 days in a row, and Palestinian terrorists like Leila Khaled and Miriam Abu Daqqa were live streamed giving some lectures and speeches denying October 7 pogrom and justifying it and as a resistance and portraying a very biased point of view. These events had a huge impact on me as a student and as a person, because I've always rejected anti-Semitism during my life. So I was very glad to be involved with Pietro, with Alessandro, with many other guys from all over Italy in Vogliamo Studiare. We want to study. And we are preparing initiatives where fighting anti-Semitism on campuses all over Italy, because a minority of students, a loudly minority, cannot take hostage the majority of the students, the teachers, and the researchers. So I'm very happy to be here to talk about it, and I want to thank Thomas and the ECI for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Davide. And maybe many of you mentioned college campuses, and we know that that is really the battlefield today, not only in Europe, but in the United States. And what worries people is that what seems to be the youngest and the brightest people of today are so misled. And it was interesting because I'm now speaking to our Italian friends. When you returned from the Young Leaders Academy, you had an incident happening to you very concretely. I think looking from the pictures, I recall having seen Pietro. You were all. Maybe we'll give the microphone to Pietro and explain what happened, and others can fill in later.
Yeah, thank you. So, as we all mentioned, we are part of an initiative, and as part of this initiative, we organize many events in universities to talk about our experiences, including the one in Brussels, for which I want to thank ECI again, because it really was absolutely outstanding. And yes, so we prepared this event in the University of Turin. And yes, so the pro-Palestine activists, or at least let's call them this way, occupied our room, the room that we booked for this event, and the situation became very tense because, of course, we had every right to speak. We regularly booked that room, so we wouldn't leave, and they got kind of angry about that. So the violence came in because that's the only resource they have at some point. So they like tore off my shirt, and also the yellow ribbon for the hostages from Lucas Pizzichino, which is the president of UJ, which is also part of our initiative. And so, yeah, it was pretty much a horrible situation because we have seen pretty much the worst that we could see in our country and our universities. So no freedom of speech, misinformation, disinformation, fake slogans like "from the river to the sea," which we all know means the destruction of Israel. And yeah, so apart from the obvious, fear for physical safety, but also from a democratic point of view, that was really the lowest point possible that we could reach in a university, especially in what should be a democratic country like Italy. So it took us like a couple of hours to, get back in shape and be ready to fight again. But this truly motivated us even more because it clearly showed that it has shown that there is a problem. There is a great problem, and we cannot stay silent because it's not only for Israel, but also for the sake of our own democracy, because everybody should be free, first of all, to study, but even more than that, to express their opinion. Freedom of speech is the first thing. And right now, if you try to defend Israel, even with logical arguments, as the ones that I think I have, they stop you with violence because they do not have any arguments to fight back in a debate. So they use violence, and this really reminded us of very nasty times back then. So we don't want to go back there, and we'll surely keep on fighting to ensure freedom of speech for everybody.
Do I remember correctly that you were on national television explaining what happened? Can you share just briefly about that as well?
Yeah. Let's say that the positive news is that what happened to us really was noticed, not only by the politicians, and we have received many, forms of solidarity with us, and that was really, really heartwarming, because it showed that someone cares, and we're still working about, transforming that solidarity in concrete actions. But there will be time for that. And I also, the news, for the first time, the news really acknowledged that there is a problem. So yes, I have the pleasure and the opportunity to go on national television, and we talked about what happened to us. And it was really, really great to see all the reactions, all the people that wrote to me and to us, to express solidarity, to say that they are with us. So what we really must not fall for is the narrative that we are alone and we are a few. Actually, there are many, many, many people that think like us, but right now they are even too scared to express their opinions. So what we must do is keep on fighting and be brave also for them, because everybody has to be able to express their opinions. So if we are brave for them, more people will follow us.
Yeah. So that was really important what you said. I mean, there are many who thinks like you do, and I'm now thinking about your generation. But obviously, not everyone are as courageous, and therefore it's so important that we don't step down. I will come back to this question in just a few minutes about who are the ones who dislike what we do, but who are the unexpected friends. But before that, Marie, I want to come back to you. If I remember correctly, you also had, your own sorts of problem on your college campuses. What can you share about that?
Yeah, so I just want to precise, I was not at university. It's more like a formation center. I had an internship, but I ended up being not able to finish my school year because I received many death threats from pro-Palestinian students. And I just ended up kind of being banned from attending classes because I guess it was too many people to handle for the teacher and the direction. So I just ended up being banned for receiving hate. So.
Wow, and you still have a smile on your face. I like that.
I mean, I'm gonna say it in the right way. I think at the same, I was doing a formation in sound engineering. I'm thinking about redirecting to something related to diplomacy and politics and everything. So I see it as another direction. I don't want to see it in a bad way.
Yeah, no, we agree. We need you in Belgian politics. Let's come back to Amanda. You started by sharing some of your experience from Israel, but coming back to Sweden as an example, how is your work perceived? People know that you are a friend of Israel. You do social media. How is this being received? Where do you find your friends? Who are your enemies?
Well, I haven't received much hate openly, more so looking through the comments now, mostly now with Iran, really. It's a lot of hate in the posts about Iran that I did recently. People and of course, honestly, I haven't looked through. There was one reel that we got a lot of views on, and I haven't looked through all of them, but they all say I'm stupid and really attacking me personally. But when it comes to face, I haven't received any, but I'm expecting it.
You mentioned that you spent 2 weeks in Israel. You were doing social media content. You volunteered to show a little clip of what you did when you were in Israel.
Okay, so I don't know. Have you heard of Kibbutz Nir Oz? So it's the kibbutz close to Gaza, 2 kilometers in the south, and it was the kibbutz that was hit the worst on the 7th of October. Every fourth person was either killed or kidnapped or raped, and that's also the kibbutz where the Bibas family and Oded Lifshitz. Have you heard of him? He's the journalist and peace activist of the Palestinian people. Every week he took Palestinian kids to hospitals in Israel, and they came in and kidnapped him, 80 plus years old, plus his wife, and he died. He came out in the coffin with the Sherry Bibas, which wasn't Sherry Bibas. So I will just show a little bit of videos.
This is the road where all our elders that were kidnapped or they were murdered and their houses were destroyed. Most of the men were kidnapped or murdered here or murdered in Gaza. And we have a lot of women that are widows.
Yeah, so this woman is this is her father-in-law. Grandfather-in-law. Let's see. No, father-in-law. Father-in-law. Oded Lifshitz is her father-in-law. And she's actually Swedish. So we did some Swedish content. But here they call one street the death row. Hamas came in and they cut the gas wires and burned all the houses except 6 of them, so that the people would come out or burn alive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amanda. And this brings us to methodology. If the question is, well, how can we fight back? How can we combat anti-Semitism? How can we oppose these anti-Israel narratives? You have chosen social media. I'd be interested to hear, Agatha, for example, for you. What do you think is the role of social media? What's the role of education? What's the role of politics? What's the best way to combat anti-Semitism?
Well, I think most importantly, we need to build bridges with all political groups, so the hatred stops. Because I wish, at least in Spain, the fight against anti-Semitism wasn't a partisan problem, or we all should be concerned about fighting anti-Semitism. But of course, there are some political parties that are intrinsically anti-Semitic. So I think it's very important to work and engage with Jewish organizations, because at the end of the day, it's the only place where Jews can feel safe and can thrive and can they can share their experiences with everyone. And that's how I got to know more about the Jewish people, Israel, whatever. So I think it's very important that we work with Jewish organizations. And yeah, I think that's very important.
On that note, we worked with 2 major Jewish organizations in April, European Jewish Congress and European Jewish Association. You may have heard that just a few days ago, I think it was over the weekend, that there were pictures of Rabbi Margolin, others that we met while we were in Brussels, spread over Brussels, giving information, say these are lobbying for genocide. This is really crossing a red line. There are people who obviously don't like Pietro or Alessandro or Davide or others, but just imagine to have your picture spread over Brussels. It's basically targeting, saying, well, these people are promoting genocide. So for us, that's very important, that we also always show solidarity with those working in Jewish organizations. But Alessandro, what do you think is the most effective weapon to combat anti-Semitism? Is it education? Is it enlightenment? Is it social media? Is it politics? Is it something else?
Yes, I wanted to say just a thing that I know a woman that works in the Transatlantic Jewish Committee that happens. What do you mention it? And yes, it is a terrible situation for all points of view. For these images that was was dropped. And yes, I wanted to say just I think regarding this from a communication point of view, Israel is losing his communicative battle from a point of view of social media, because the disinformation that also major media and newspapers are constantly spreading only against Israel in Italy. It is a dangerous phenomenon that goes beyond the mere misinformation from my point of view, because also our politicians keep firing up crowds, and without realizing that by doing this, they are actually the first one responsible for the rise of hate and anti-Semitism in a already polarized situation like this. And yes, we have to fight with we need to stand with Israel together with the goal that with the page of Students for Israel, our goal is reaching a young audience and fight to widespread misinformation that often distorts public's opinion. Our aim is to ensure that students and young people can base our ideas that it could be a different opinion, but based on facts, not on misconceptions. And we need to stand with we need to fight misinformation and stand up for Israel, because defending Israel today is means protect ourselves also for this situation, this war with against Iran means defending all our democracy from the threat of dictatorships. So in defense of our freedom, so we need to spread more. We need to spread more right information and continue to fight with social media, because we need to win the communication battle, in my opinion, that Israel unfortunately is losing in this moment, in my opinion.
So I think both Agatha and I think it was Pietro who mentioned that it's important that we try to engage with a very broad spectrum politically. And I remember we had a talk in Brussels. Also, you had ideas to involve more the center left in Italy, because as our vote ranking has shown today, maybe the strongest support for Israel is more on the center right. But I think that's a good point to be made, that we should try to include, this is a fight for humanity. There shouldn't be any political ideologies to explain why we should, stand up against tyranny and why we should stand for free societies and democracy. But coming back to Davide, we're speaking now about social media, about political activism. And you're studying history, and I know the fact that you don't live in Sanremo, I believe, but you live outside.
Near.
Near Sanremo. And what do you think is the role of history? The reason that we always come back to Sanremo is to retell the story of Israel's legal rights, that what we hear on college campuses about Israel being a neo-colonial state is the opposite, the exact opposite is true. The founding of Israel, or the reconstitution of a Jewish state, was the beginning of decolonization. And this is something that took place. The decision was made in Sanremo in 1920. What are your thoughts about the role of history in correcting the false narratives which are out there, and the role of Sanremo, Liguria for that matter?
First of all, I want to thank you and the ECI for organizing these events in Sanremo, because, in my opinion, are very important, because outside from historians or teachers, unfortunately, most of people in Italy doesn't know about the Sanremo resolution, and these events are very, very important, in my opinion, to reach a broader public. Speaking about the effects and the colonial bias, in my opinion, there is a very huge propaganda on campuses about Israel as a colonial state. And maybe a way to counter it is to organize event, but also social media contents, because nowadays most of young people take information from social media. So we should create content with facts and not ideology. Um, because now you can't speak good of Israel or speak the truth in campuses like in Italy, like happened to us in Turin. And one of the worst things that happened, in my opinion, was that in the billboard promoting our event, the pro-Palestinian group called themselves Intifada Group, named, cioè, put a red triangle on our names, like Hamas do with its targets, and spreads these billboards all over the campuses. And these things, in my opinion, prevent moderate students most people maybe support Israel, but are afraid to say it in public. I mean, because we are afraid of these sort of aggressions by these radicals groups.
Thank you, David. And I was not aware of the fact that you had also been targeted with your pictures, and that's really disgusting. But this is the reality that we are living in, and you should all, deserve a medal who are on this webinar and who took part in the Young Leaders Academy. But I think this is also a source of encouragement and hope for people to see that it's not hopeless. People are standing up, even those who are willing to pay a high price. And we believe that, exactly as you say, that there are many, many, many out there who thinks like us and are willing to follow your example. I had an interesting discussion in Rome, actually, with the national coordinator in the combat against anti-Semitism, who made an interesting observation. He said that in cities which have large universities in Italy, they have a bigger rise in anti-Semitism than in normal cities. And he said that this was also the case in Italy in the 70s when you had Italian terrorist organizations like Red Brigades, Rosso Brigade, and others. And many of those who were real terrorists at that time, they also mutated over time, and they became university professors and faculty at universities, and this is something that is a structural problem. I had the same discussion in New York just a few weeks ago when I was there, and they said in the US it's the same thing. College presidents are aware of the problems. The advisory councils who are responsible for funding, they are aware of the problems. But faculty, it's not only students, and this is interesting. You have a coalition of those who were young and wild and radical in the 70s, who are now, senior professors, and then you have the students, and they merge in this strange coalition. But we think that there will be a change in that as well. Let us take these last 10 minutes just to go through all of you, just to make some reflections on the ECI Young Leaders Academy. What were some of the highlights, and what can we do as ECI and others to encourage you, to help you, to equip you in this fight, which sadly is not getting any easier. So if we start, I start at the bottom of my screen in Charleroi with Marie.
Yes. So first of all, the ECI Young Leaders Academy for me was very empowering because, in Belgium, it feels very lonely to be pro-Israel, like actively. And for me, it gave me a lot of confidence and motivation to continue doing it. I guess it's this notion that, I felt like I was not alone anymore, because in Belgium, I've been receiving many death threats. I've been losing many friends, even receiving death threats from friends, like people I used to call friends. And for me, the main point of participating in this academy was the new connections I made and the way it empowered me. As well, I feel like we covered so many aspects, and it gave me a lot of confidence in defending Israel with new arguments that I maybe was not using much before. And it was a very nice experience, and I'm really grateful for it.
Thank you, Marie, and you are really a hero to all of us, and now you will be a hero to even a larger audience. So well done. Agatha from the Canary Islands.
So I also think that it was an amazing experience. I got to learn a lot. I like meeting with people that support Israel is not common for me. I normally, as Marie, I'm very I don't connect with pro-Israel people. But I also think that it was amazing to meet people from the European Jewish Congress, parliamentarians, and also lawyers. That made me feel like we're not alone. There are many organizations working for this matter, and also many people around Europe that are very interested.
Thank you, Agatha. And maybe we should do the next Young Leaders Academy on Canary Islands. in November. I think it would be a good location.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I wanted to hear that. Pietro, I got your location wrong, did I? You're in Milano, so it's Inter. It's not Fiorentina. Yeah. Please let us know your thoughts, but also looking at the future. You know, what could we do to make life easier for you?
Well, first of all, I want to apologize if you hear some noise, but irony of, destiny, there is a pro-Palestinian protest under my house, so yeah. And the point is that also this is a point. I mean, we have seen pro-Palestinian protests also outside universities, and if on one hand we have pro-Israel protests, which are always very calm, with a strong message, of course, but everything goes fine. We have seen, and I'm actually pretty concerned this will be the case again, that pro-Palestine protests often turn violent. There's vandalism and so on. So, as I said before, we should really go, and it's also what I'm trying to do, to the politicians, because in Brussels I had the unbelievable luck to be able to arrange also a meeting, thanks to Davide, with MEP from Italy, from the right, and then I had the opportunity to meet also Pina Picerno, which is the vice president of the European Parliament. So it really is all about right now two main things, at least in my view. Go to the media, because first of all, we have to change a narrative that is completely Palestinian-sided, let's say, or also even Iran-sided, which is unthinkable, but yet here we are. So the point is, going to the media and being able to do what I did is absolutely like the first step. And secondly, we have to, and I am already doing that, to gain, the trust of politicians from many parties, and to go up to them and say, look, we have to change the laws, because the laws are not protecting, first of all, the Jewish students, or also even Jewish people at some points, but even us, because I mean, I was not protected, Davide was not protected, the freedom of speech was not protected, the freedom to study was not protected. So at the end, I think also, at least in Italy, we have a pretty good chance at changing the law, going to the parliament, and changing the laws there, because that's really what matters the most. Because there are two things. The first one is to change the narrative, and for this you need the media. So if you were asking what the ACI could do, really it's all about creating a network, because it's all about putting together the people we know. Some work in the media, have contacts, and the result is something like what happened to me, that I went to national television. Somebody else knows a deputy of Italy in the Senate or in the chamber. So it's all about creating a network together, because really it's one fight. We are all together, but we are not very well organized at the moment. And if we have to give something to the pro-Palestine activists, they are extremely, extremely well organized. So we really have to catch up to them. And in order to do this, every useful contact, everything we can do, not to do the work for us, because as I think we've shown, we are ready to bring on the fight to national television, to universities, to anywhere it's needed, but to give us the chance to fight. This is important for us. So if we put ourselves together, it's really something we can and we must do if we want to change the situation.
Thank you, Pietro, and I'm sure that Alessandro would agree. Please.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to express my thank to you also, Thomas, because it is the first one that we can see each other from Bruxelles, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And for me, the ECI project it gave me the opportunity to open my eyes at what is the engage of the European Parliament, the European Commission, and in particular for the from this project to stand with Israel, because visit the European Parliament gave me the opportunity to realize and also talking with many members of the European Parliament, he gave me the opportunity to see what they are constantly doing for the cause of Israel, and it was a wonderful experience that we will still have continue fighting to stand with Israel, because in my opinion, if Israel loses in this conflict, the European citizen, if we can say, don't realize that, don't understand that the next ones are at risk will be us, because we need to fight for democracy, and we need to continue to stand with Israel and to give our support. And I think that Europe could do also more than it is doing now. And thank you very much for this opportunity that you gave me, and think it was I think that we can continue to discuss about this situation, because 3 years ago I was threatened in my university, unfortunately, by a guy that recognized me from the social media, and because we also we posted the images that Amanda showed us, and from the October the 7th, because I went in Israel 4 months ago, and yes, I'm very scared from this situation, but also for the conflict in Iran, and I think that Israel will can free also the Iranian people, and so we need to continue to stand with Israel. Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro. And Amanda, your name was mentioned. What are your concluding thoughts before we give over to Davide?
About the ECI and is that still the question?
It's still the question.
Okay. It was amazing. I went there in October, and I remember just feeling like I got a lot of information, like a lot of really, really good information. I loved when we got to meet the name of the organization with the Juan. What's the name?
European Jewish Association.
Yes, that was really good, because it was very like concrete. Like they gave us really short, like good answers to things. That was, I think, and then also when we went to the European Parliament, and we got to listen to actually a woman from Iran, and so that was nice. And really good to know that, to connect with people in Europe. That felt very important, to be united as Europeans.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the Young Leaders Academy that you attended, we did have a special focus on Iran, and we had a speaker who is on the hit list of the IRGC, But as someone, I think it was Alessandro who said that, standing up for these values and principles also means standing up for the people of Iran. So for us, the slogan is "Free, Free Iran," and we hope it will happen sooner rather than later. Davide, the concluding remarks to Sanremo, to Liguria. What did you learn, and how can we help you and others going forward?
No, in my opinion, was very important take part to the last academy because I was able to learn a lot of new tools in advocacy, in defending Israel. In my opinion, would be very important, very good if the ECI could organize some events or some meetings. They could be online or in person with member of European parliaments, but also with expert of international law, expert of history to give us tools that we take back in our country. And to help us, ECI is already doing it, but ECI has a big network. I mean, could help us also on social media. Maybe we could create content and post on the ECI page, or the ECI create content and send us, and we could share it on our groups to our friends in our countries, and maybe create content not only in English, because I know English is the most important language, but also in the Italian or French or Spanish, in the language of the country. But thank you, the DCI is already doing a lot of things.
Thank you, David, and thank you, everyone. Just to comment on what you said, I think it's a very good idea that you mentioned that there should be more social media content, and also in different languages. And Christina Lasebna is our social media coordinator and Brussels representative, and we have our Telegram group, and I think that's a good platform also to continue that discussion, how we do it concretely. Let me also say that there will be a next Young Leaders Academy, most likely the second week of November, which will also be our annual conference. And like we always do, is that we invite alumnus from previous Young Leaders Academy. So we will confirm the dates, hopefully in the next few weeks. Also to say that what we do today, we call this Open Academy. And we have only done 2 other Open Academies so far. But this is a tool where we can do, as you said, Davide, we can bring in a member of parliament, international legal expert, and what have you, and have this type of conversation. Because I think that, or it's important to say that the Young Leaders Academy wasn't just those very intense 48 hours in Brussels, but it's something we are creating a community. We want to create content, and we want to create network, as Pietro said, that we can really have an impact. And I'm always of the opinion that a few can really change a lot. It's not a matter of having the masses. I think it was the former Pope who said that the creative minority, meaning that it's actually always minorities that are changing trends in society. So to have 6 of you here today, and to have 20 at the Young Leaders Academy, and we have trained, I think, close to 60 young leaders by now, is already it's all we need. And we know from one of the books that we were reading at the last Young Leaders Academy, to someone's surprise, that sometimes it only takes 12 people to change the whole world. So we should never underestimate what we can do together. This was my way of saying thank you to all of you. It has been a pleasure to see you again. And I wanted to share this pleasure, as I said, with a wider audience. This is recorded. It will be put on our website. Please feel free to share this YouTube video. Speak with your friends who may want to attend the next Young Leaders Academy. And let us continue to fight, and let us continue to stay together. And again, as we started this Open Academy with our thoughts, the people of Israel right now, the people of Iran, and to see freedom and democracy for the people of Iran sooner rather than later. This is our hope as we conclude this Open Academy with Davide, Amanda, Agatha, Pietro, Alessandro, and Marie, and Katarina Salme as our executive producer. So thank you again, and hope to see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, bye, bye.